I know. Okay, let's call to order the Redevelopment Commission meeting of May the 13th. First order of business is our approval of the minutes from the April 8th meeting. They've been circulated before. If there are any comments or suggestions, if there are none, ask for a motion to approve as written. Second. All in favor? So moved. Next order is claims approval. Also have been circulated prior to the meeting. Approximately $241,000 in claims. I don't know if there are any questions or comments about the claims before us. There being none, can I get a motion to approve and pay?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved. Next up, financial report.
Yes, and you just go ahead and do the June reporting process with that.
Will do. Happy to see y'all again. Glad to be back down here. Just a quick update on your financial plan for the month. Across all your TIF areas, you're sitting at $859,788. You have $962,000 spent so far and have received $113,000 in revenue. And we're also looking forward to next month when we get June settlement. We will get Form 22s from the auditor's office and review those, make sure everything's good to go TIF revenue-wise. So next month, of course, you guys will see all that updated in here with your June settlement amounts. But unless you guys have any questions on the plan, I will go ahead and move on to the reporting requirements.
Please do so, yep.
Okay. And as you guys may remember, for your June 15th reporting requirements, this is your determination of passing through incremental assessed value of all the allocation areas. And this is just essentially going and saying you plan to spend 50% of the TIF revenues each allocation area makes, and determining to not pass through any assessed value to the underlying units. This document will have the resolution in the first couple of pages. It'll have each of the Exhibit A's for each allocation area, showing that they meet the percentage requirements to not pass through any AV. And then you'll have the letters, the last half of the document. You'll need to sign and number the resolution, sign each of the letters, and then we will take care of mailing those out to the overlapping units. And then also submit this to Gateway, and it'll be done. And that is all entails for that.
And again, I think for everyone, this should look fairly familiar. It's a yearly report that we do, so
Yep.
if you have any questions, we're more than happy to answer them.
And I have the final copy for you guys to sign, and then John, for you to sign the letters.
Great.
Perfect.
And we just need a motion, Mr. Chairman,
Do you want to do that now?
Yeah, to adopt the resolution.
So
We go
we have
ahead.
before us Resolution 2025-3R, determining need to capture incremental assessed valuation. Can we get a motion to approve and sign? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Under old business, if we can, I thought I'd give you a few updates on some projects that are starting to move forward. Currently, the trail project, Phase 1 of the Hanover Connector Trail, Madison Hanover Connector Trail, is in utility work. It's been delayed a little bit because of the weather here earlier in the spring and scheduling with CenterPoint Energy on some gas line relocation. So that's supposed to all be completed here in the next 2 weeks so that they can begin moving pretty aggressively on that trail construction. We will, in conjunction with that, have been working with the county commissioners and to finalize the West End traffic calming and connectivity project associated with that. And we'll be working with City Council on speed limits over the next month or so to reduce speeds in that zone from about Clifty Creek's employee entrance or their main entrance into town, basically sliding back the speed limit decreases about 100 to 200 feet so that speed limit starts to decrease before you come down the hill into Clifty Falls State Park. There's a number of near misses of people turning in left, going into town. As you come over that hill, as you know, a weekend specifically, there's a lot of backup of traffic trying to turn left into Clifty Falls, and so the state park had asked us to look at that as well, and so we're responding to that. I would tell you that we are reviewing the 90% bid set for Welch Park. It landed last week, and we're currently evaluating some of the design elements and looking at the budgets, the final cost estimates before we go to bid. Goal would be to bid that project here in the month of June into July, and hopefully have you an award a contract by August. So that's where we are with that. The amphitheater, we made a nice precedence trip. Carrie, sorry you couldn't join us on that day, but we did visit a number of amphitheaters throughout central Indiana, looking at some that were smaller probably than what we would have, some that are about the same size, and then some that were larger. But it was good, I think, for the community group. We had about 12 people on the trip, and I think everybody enjoyed that as well. And we have the National Theater Project Group in town on May 29th and 30th to work with the team on programming and planning for that as we continue to move that forward. And then finally, May 20th, we will be closing on the bonds with German American Bank. Right after May 20th. Right after May 20th. So is that the 21st? I'll let you update that. Go ahead.
So the investment in our bonds will have all their final approvals at May 20th.
May 20th.
The City Council at the last meeting approved the resolution that the Redevelopment Commission adopted authorizing the issuance of the $4.9 million bonds for the 4 projects that we had outlined that are in our plan. And so we'll be closing. It'll probably be early June, but the runway will be clear after May 20th, which is good news. And those 4 projects included the amphitheater, Welch Park, our housing development downtown, and our property acquisition and housing development on the hilltop. So more work to still be done on all 4 of those projects, but the financial plan that was approved and authorized here has been approved at the Redevelopment Commission. Now we're in the closing phase of that. What to expect remaining on that, in addition to what Tony was describing about bidding out and cost estimates and those things, is we will have to amend our redevelopment plan. Once we finalize the acquisition terms for specific parcels, we'll need to come back through the Redevelopment Commission and council process to amend the redevelopment plan to include that as one of our planned initiatives. So perfunctory, we've done it before, but that's part of the process we go through with regard to targeted property acquisition. So expect that to happen probably in June.
Yeah, we have to have the specific parcel numbers as a part of the resolution for purchase, and so as soon as we have those, we'll be happy to share those publicly. The other thing that also happened with that Hilltop subdivision is we'll have to create a residential TIF, both through the Redevelopment Commission as well as the City Council. It would be our recommendation that we do that in order to help fund and subsidize the infrastructure investments on the parcels. Redi Financial is working through that pro forma based upon the number of lots, et cetera, of the proposed, potentially proposed subdivision, and we'll, as soon as we have all that together here in the next 30 to 45 days, we'll certainly be getting with the RDC to talk through that.
I'll just give another quick update, and that is at the last Board of Public Works and Safety meeting, we awarded the contract for the first part of the actual Main Street reconstruction that we're going to be doing. Might invite our Director of Finance, Mindy McGee, here to discuss the award of the CCMG project.
Yes, good afternoon. We were awarded $1.5 million from NDOT, and we are continuing the progress on Main Street. We have 2 federal grants that are going to take care of top of the hill to the incline bridge, and then a second federal grant that goes from the incline bridge to Mill Street. So we took this opportunity because we were able to apply for about double what we normally are on CCMG to continue the work on Main Street. So this will take us all the way to Broadway. And our bid luckily came in less than what we were awarded at NDOT, so we have some options we're looking at and looking at the numbers again and hopefully can get more done than what we anticipated. But very pleased with the bids, seem to be coming down. We used to just assume they would come in higher than our projections, but they seem to be coming down, so that's good. It gives us some room to work, so hopefully faster progress on Main Street.
That's a whole master plan that we started on in 2020, I believe. So just to put a few things in perspective, I was telling a story this morning with leadership Jefferson County. The city agreed to have that road transferred to it from NDOT in 2014. And then the actual road transfer occurred in 2020. And in 2020, we formed a Main Street Steering Committee that worked probably for about a year to create the Main Street Master Plan in 2020. So that work took us about a year. Then we started applying for state and federal grants. Many mentioned we had received 2 federal highway grants, but the award dates for those was 2026 and 2027. So in 2020 and 2021, we applied for funding to do the Main Street reconstruction, which is going to cost about $30 million, but the monies would not be available until 2026 and 2027. So here we are in 2024 thinking we've spent 4 years on planning, can we finally get under construction? And the only way to do that was identify yet another source of funding, which was through the state's CCMG grant program, which partnership with the city, the Redevelopment Commission, and NDOT on the funding. And that is what is allowing us to begin in 2025, the resurfacing, reconstruction of that portion Mindy had outlined from Broadway Street to Mill Street. And then we'll get back to our normal, channel in 2026. We'll start at Hanover Hill down to the Incline Bridge. In 2027, it'll be the Incline Bridge back to Mill Street. And then while all that's happening, we will be working very, very hard to identify funding sources for the remaining part of that corridor, which is 4.5 miles, which is between Broadway and Jefferson Street, which is probably going to cost $10 million, maybe.
It'll be one of the most expensive
for that funding.
parts.
And so we think that that's probably going to be right around 2030. And then also we're doing intersection improvements and traffic calming amongst all that. So major initiative. By the time we're done, it will have taken 15 years from the beginning to the end. But I want to thank you guys for agreeing to serve until 2035 to see Main Street done, right? We're committed to that. But thank you guys for your commitment. But again, these things take a long time. They take a lot of money. It's going to create some disruption, but we all know that it's going to be worth it because of the planning and the safety elements that are injected into that project. But no easy lift.
I was going to add 2 things to what you said. One is we did award that contract for this CCMG project to All-Star Paving. All-Star did CCMG for us a couple of years ago, a fairly large project. And then, as he mentioned, the intersection improvements, we did receive 2 additional federal safety grants, highway safety grants, to do new traffic signals, upgraded audible crosswalk signals, repainting of the crosswalks to help improve safety. This is at the Main and West intersection and the Main and Mulberry intersection, which will at least improve walkability while we're waiting on getting the rest of the paving done. So it's a little bit like a patchwork quilt. We've got it down to 5 or 6 phases right now, trying to cobble funds together to get it all done. And I told council the other night, we're headed now into the phase of aggravation.
Yeah. If you love Clifty Drive,
You're going to love Main
you'll love
Street.
Main Street when we start working on it. But you got to get through that inconvenience in order to get the work done. And everybody loves our historic community, but one of the things we'll be doing with the Main Street project is filling in old fire cisterns that are under the road that were used for storing water for our volunteer fire response. So all of those are under the road. Railroad tracks might still be under the road, or trolley tracks. And who else? Lots of brick. Or what else? I mean, not who else, but what else is under there? What else is under there? It's going to be an interesting project, and who knows what we'll find. hopefully nothing that is considered, sacred that would stop the job. But and then the other thing, I'll just mention, any questions from any on Main Street?
But if you said the first phase is going to start from Broadway and go to Mill?
Mill Street.
That'll be later this year.
And we
Go
picked
after
that
this.
phase, we picked that segment because that was the only segment that had not already had federal highway money designated to it. And we said to ourselves, hey Bob, hey Mindy, why wait? Why wait until 26 and 27 to get anything done? Let's dedicate CCMG monies to this first phase and get it started. Because we've been in the planning, design, and engineering, and surveying. It seemed like it was 5 years of just a lot of planning. We want to see some results, and so that's where we issued the general obligation bond in December. That's creating the pool for our funding match, and then we are using kind of the last round of really good CCMG monies before the tax law changes with the road funding bills to get it started. So it's going to be very worthwhile, but it's going to be, again, repeated construction for the next 3 years. The good news, John, for me and you, is that it'll be 2027 before it gets past our house. So we have a couple of years to prepare for it. But it's been a lot of work, and we're just finally here, and we'll manage through that project like we have everything else.
Thank you.
I may mention one other thing on RDC projects. One of our critical initiatives for 2025 is housing. As you know, we broke ground on the residents at Sunrise Crossing a few weeks ago, which is well underway. If you drive by there now, there's a tremendous amount of site work happening.
Yeah, they actually poured footers last week, so there should be, the structures will go up pretty quick. So you'll start, lots of wood going up in the next 30 days.
This time next year, you'll see units, buildings being completed, and they'll place those in service incrementally and get those leased up. And the intention is to roll right into another 93 units beyond that. But that's going to serve much needed affordable housing. Combine that with our investment with Habitat for Humanity with the Clifty Woods subdivision. And then now the other two pieces of it is the downtown market rate apartment project, which we're going through the plan commission stages for now. There's been lots of conversation and some unhappy members of our community that don't want to see anything improve on the riverfront, but our riverfront is in desperate need of redevelopment. And we're going to continue working through that process with the plan commission and city council, and also with our investor partner. And then acquisition of property on the hilltop for a 200-unit subdivision that will add a lot of much-needed single-family entry-level housing, as well as housing at all price points for the next several years. So a lot of that's happening, and we'll continue to keep you guys informed, and happy to answer any questions too.
On any kind of interest in manufacturing space on the property of the industrial site, are we still marketing that? Has there been,
Good question.
with some more onshoring push, are we seeing anything that people are looking?
We have a tremendous amount of interest in the parcels on the west side
The
of
subdivided
the
parcels.
subdivided parcels. We continue to do that, and per the commission's desire, holding those for small job creation opportunities for small businesses, and we have a couple interested in a parcel on that, which we will be looking to you to potentially consider a sell on that in the next few weeks. In terms of the large shovel-ready site, we do have some interest in that. It hasn't had much interest in the recent tenure since I've been here, but recently has garnered a couple conversations. So we do know that, based upon the conversations I've had with industry, we have I wouldn't say all, but a majority of our industry is in a growth mode of hiring. Again, in those conversations, we know Grody's expanding, Royer's expanding with active construction projects. We have our three other Japanese owned companies are all continuing to hire and looking for other opportunities as well, potentially. So the community's strong right now in terms of its economic health from our largest manufacturers, and we hope that to continue, and we'll see how the 50-acre site plays out. We do have that. I would still say that today that 50-acre site is on the small side of what factories are looking for, industry is looking for, but we'll see how that goes over the next few months and year, and maybe have some other suggestions as well.
Site selectors, and we get contacted from IEDC and others, they're looking for 1,000-acre sites.
100 acres,
It depends. And I do want to also, again, recognize Jay Roney, who is here, because additional investment that's happening in our community, which is critical for all of us, is the Early Learning Center that Madison has undertaken. And they've gone through the financial process. And I don't know if you want to describe where you're at on that. I know we had some additional public testimony at the recent board meeting.
Yeah, we're still waiting on just all of we're kind of in a holding pattern for a few more days, or a couple more weeks anyway. But we're gonna, fingers crossed, we're gonna move forward and hopefully break ground within a year.
Critical investment to help is what, so think about schools, early learning, housing, how critical that is to fulfill workforce demands of our employers in our community. Critical pieces. So you've got the education piece, you've got the housing piece, you've got the jobs piece. We're focusing on quality of life, investments. We're making investments in parks and infrastructure. We're doing everything we can for all of our parts to support one another. And I'm really excited about each and every part of it, and definitely the Early Learning Center too is going to be critical for getting people into our workforce.
and we are lucky as a community to have the school corporation standing tall and taking on this challenge. Many.
It's been easy, hasn't it, Jay?
It's simple.
Yeah,
Thank
what
you.
about easy? But yeah,
Yes, thank you.
Dr. Brown is,
Yeah.
she's really, made a push for this. This has been very important to her.
Yeah.
Obviously
I was
there's a
just being
need.
facetious.
Yeah.
I know it's very hard lifting.
Yeah, we've had great community support thus far. Like you said, the last meeting we had some doctors come in and just talk about the importance of, how important this is for our community. And not just at a local level, but everywhere.
Yep.
But this is going to be a state-of-the-art facility for young minds to learn and grow and mold, and it's going to be really something.
I think that's all, unless you guys have questions today for us. I do have a couple things afterwards just to share, and we got the signatures, so.
Okay. No, that's the
These updates.
last agenda,
City matter updates.
last item on the agenda. Our next meeting is June 10th, with nothing else on the agenda. Could I get a motion to adjourn? Second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.